All right, it is 9:37. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm here.
Feeling good. Coming up, a local event is all about saving our oceans, which is something that's very important to
Very
you.
important to me. We're talking about the second annual Rising Tide Summit. It invites leaders to share sustainable solutions for protecting our oceans. The keynote speaker will be joining us live when the KTLA 5 Morning News comes back on this Saturday. Such a nice wave. There is an upcoming event. It invites brands to discover the power of purpose. The Rising Tide Summit brings together business leaders to share ideas for protecting our oceans.
And joining us to discuss this is Summit founder Vipe Desai. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. We need to just give you a thank you because you were here last week with us and we had breaking news, and so you came back. So thank you very much. It's really important that you're here.
Well, thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
So let's talk about what is different about this environmental conference versus others. There's some things that are really special about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Other conferences are usually driven by nonprofits or government agencies, and business communities are usually left out of the conversation. And when we look at what's going on with our oceans, businesses are responsible for some of these issues, so we need to include them in the dialogue. This summit is driven by businesses, and we are inviting government agencies to be involved as well as nonprofits, but we're driving it from the business side. We want to help find these solutions.
Is that because you see businesses have the solutions, or they just need to step up to the plate and meet everyone's sort of center?
Well, they're the ones that are causing the problems, really. You know, if you look at what's going on with consumerism, you know, the waste that's coming out of everything is driven by businesses. So we have to step up as a business community to help solve these issues. We cannot allow nonprofits or government agencies to figure it out. We have to be part of that process.
So you've had some really exciting things from last year that really took off. You have one local surfboard company that you can tell us about.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a local shaper here. His name's Ryan Harris, and he has created the world's first zero waste surfboard factory. And when you look at surfboards, they're made from materials that are toxic to the environment. He has figured out a way to repurpose them and turn them into other materials. So he works with a gentleman named Eddie Garcia. They take the surfboard waste, and mealworms and beetles eat it up and convert that into soil.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and what happens is we you know, this is just a test, okay? So we're using it at the Zero Waste Surfboard Factory, but there are applications outside of the surf industry as well. So this is a step in the right direction.
Not everyone has a surfboard, but I can assure you most people use cups. And you said there's a process right now to get all of us to use cups that are better for the environment. What's that about?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a company out of Newport Beach called Recup, and they have a really interesting technology. Most paper cups aren't recyclable because of the lining that's on the inside of them is made up of plastic. This new cup has a different material that's mineralized, and people can go to the website to take a look at it a little bit more. But what happens is these cups are recyclable and the paper can be repurposed into other materials. That's a step in the right directions. That's how we need to be thinking.
It seems so futuristic, but if you think about what's to come, what's next year? What are you looking forward to hearing about at this summit?
Yeah, you know, this year it's all about inspiration. We want to inspire business leaders to take action. So we want them to come together, listen to nonprofit leaders. We already know what the issues are out there. We know the doom and gloom and everything. Business leaders are inspired by other business leaders. They are there to solve a problem. And that's what's exciting about this. I think the other thing I'd like to say too is that, look, I've been involved in ocean conservation for more than 30 years. And 30 years ago, if you talked about doing a beach cleanup or, you know, walking around with a reusable bottle, people kind of looked at you funny. You were an outcast. Now, 30 years later,
if you don't do it.
If you don't do it,
you're an outcast.
Right? So, you know, it's a badge of honor now. So, you know, there's a lot of hope out there.
And you really need folks like us to step up, though. As we said, the government's cut a lot to the EPA. A lot of these government agencies have been cut down, at least the past 2 years. So it really is an effort for us to spring forward. We don't need to wait for the government. We can move forward and make these changes ourselves.
Absolutely. Consumers and businesses can make changes, and we can do that simply now by just starting.
Really great information. Thank you so much for being here.
Can you hear him on the radio?
So
He's got a really good voice.
Oh, really?
Absolutely,
Thank you. I do have a podcast, so tune in.
Well, then why don't you read this tease? Go ahead.
Yeah, here you
Okay,
go ahead.
Where is it? The Rising Tide Summit takes place March 27th and 28th in San Pedro. Students can save 50% on tickets. For more details, visit risingtidesummit.net.
That's pretty good.
Fantastic. We'll be right back.
Are we human?